In the cold Arctic, a giant silhouette appears in the deep water. It is the king crab, a crustacean that can weigh up to 25 pounds, and the longer the span 5 feet, a creature both terrifying and fascinating. On land, at the same time, in bustling seafood markets and luxury restaurants, each of these crabs is auctioned for hundreds, even thousands of dollars. USD each one. The global market brings in millions of dollars in revenue each year, making them one of the most expensive seafood in the world. But behind the shimmering lights of the banquet table is another story. When millions of these giant crabs cross the ocean deep into the Arctic waters of Europe, they are not only treasures under the sea, but can also become an ecological nightmare. And the big question is, how could a creature that brings both enormous wealth and soused danger invade the coldest sea on the planet? The Discover, giant king crabs worth billions threaten Europe's Arctic waters. King crabs are native to the North Pacific, from Alaska to Kamchatka, where deep waters 650 feet. The cold has become the natural cradle for their development. In the 1960s, the Soviet Union carried out a daring experiment, releasing thousands of king crabs from the Sea of Okhotsk into the Barents Sea, with the ambition of enriching the ocean. The original goal was to enrich the sea, to create a new resource to feed millions of people. But the experiment quickly spiraled out of control. The giant crabs began to move along the seafloor, expanding their territory to the Norwegian coast and gradually reaching deep into Arctic Europe. In just a few decades, the crab population has exploded from a few thousand individuals to millions. Scientists call this the silent migration, an ecosystem-altering journey that no natural barrier can stop. For fishermen, it's a godsend, a seafood worth billions. USD. Now they are suddenly appearing right on our doorstep. But to scientists, this massive invasion is like an ecological bomb waiting to explode. Before giant king crabs make it to a fancy dinner table, they must be hauled from some of the harshest seas on the planet. Catching a species worth billions USD. This means facing rough waves and the biting cold of the Arctic. Offshore, temperatures can drop minus 22 degrees Fahrenheit. The wind blew so hard that it turned the deck into a slippery sheet of ice. just one misstep could send a sailor into the freezing waters, where death would come within minutes. To hunt, fishermen have to use giant steel cages that are heavier, 1,300 pounds, dropped to a depth of hundreds of it, then pull back up. The job requires the entire crew to coordinate smoothly, because just one small mistake, a twisted cable, a tilted cage, can crush human bones right on the deck. Such accidents are not uncommon. A tow line drags a sailor overboard, a cage collapses and injures the entire crew, or a sudden storm turns the entire trip into a disaster. It is no coincidence that king crab fishing is ranked among the most dangerous in the world, second only to snow crab fishing in the Bering Sea. Images of small ships rocking in snowstorms, sailors struggling to pull cages in the cold night, their faces etched with fatigue, all paint a fierce picture of the price to pay to bring red gold from the deep sea to the banquet table. And from here, the story of ecological threats begins to appear more clearly than ever. In contrast to the dangers at sea, when arriving at shore, king crabs become symbols of prosperity. In Russia and Norway, each fishing season can bring in hundreds of millions of dollars. USD from export alone, this giant crustacean has become a billion-dollar industry in the Arctic region. For local fishermen, king crab is like a ticket to a new life. Once poor coastal villages are now lined with new houses, modern boats, and the income of sailors is many times higher than other fishing professions. At Michelin restaurants in Tokyo, New York, or Paris, a portion of king crab can be sold for hundreds of dollars. USD, demonstrating the global appeal of the ocean's red gold. But as dollars flow into the pockets of people and governments, another question arises. Is this huge profit a double-edged sword, hiding behind an unpredictable ecological threat? Behind its huge economic value, king crabs are a worrying, omnivorous predator. They use their powerful claws to crush all kinds of seafloor creatures, from clams, snails, sea cucumbers, to starfish. A single adult can consume more than 10 pounds of food in just one night, causing the entire seabed to be swept like a desert. When king crab brings in hundreds of millions in profits USD every season, the government and fishermen consider them as red gold mines in the deep sea. For them, the more they exploit, the greater the profit, and the life of coastal fishing villages also becomes more and more prosperous. But conservationists and scientists see a different picture. They warn that logging cannot stop the encroachment and may even inadvertently sustain the huge population. Every year, millions of crabs continue to multiply, crowding out already dwindling native species. The debate is intensifying, with one side seeing short-term economic opportunities, while the other fears long-term consequences for the Arctic ecosystem. The king crab has become a symbol of a double-edged sword situation, both a precious treasure and an unpredictable danger. And the question hanging over every negotiating table is, should Europe continue to exploit its wealth or sacrifice profits to protect the oceans for future generations? Currently, the only solution that Arctic coastal countries have is to control numbers by increasing commercial fishing. Every year, hundreds of thousands of king crabs, weighing an average of 20 pounds each one, are brought ashore, becoming a huge source of profit and at the same time a way to reduce pressure on the ocean. The big question for the future is, can humans simultaneously take advantage of the billions of economic benefits USD while protecting the Arctic ecosystem from the invasion of this giant creature? The answer remains unclear. And that's what makes the king crab's journey one of the greatest mysteries of the frozen sea. From a small experiment in the Barents Sea, king crab has become a symbol of trade-offs. On one side, billions in profits. USD, on one side, is the risk of imbalance in the Arctic ecosystem. Should we continue to exploit the red treasure under the seabed, or should we find a way to prevent the spread of this billion-dollar crab species? Please share your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to click like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to join us in discovering more amazing mysteries of the world.